I love when you just see a group of friends that get together and do just things that they find funny, and then they convince somebody with money that it's also funny, and then they give them a chance to do it, and then it goes really well, right? This happened a few times. I feel like, It's Always Sunny, I felt like was that way, just very low budget, just a few friends filming some stupid shit, turns into like 17 seasons or something crazy like that. And then you have, Workaholics was kind of the same way from what I understand.
Lonely Island, the guys from SNL.
Yep. So funny. So talk to me about the origins of Impractical Jokers. So, because you guys were doing, as I understand it, you were doing improv together just to like try to get funnier, or to be able to make it a career, or just a hobby, just to have fun with your friends.
For me, it was always the fun and hobby. There was different levels of it in the beginning. I mean, Sal, I would say, was probably the most serious about becoming ultimately a comic and in comedy, but we all enjoyed each other, made each other laugh, and enjoyed improv comedy. So that's where it started, and that helped us, get your bones of being in front of people, which it all comes down to.
Sure.
Also, the mindset of improv is yes and very positive. I think it helps especially when you're in such the business of everybody judging you and it hard. Being with a core group of friends that you could rely on, all those things that help that. So we started doing the improv stuff, and decade until anything really even happened.
You did for a decade.
Almost, 1999, we did our first improv show March 2nd or March 4th, 2004.
This is after practicing improv, just the four of you together.
In my mom's basement.
Yeah.
We just literally got together in my mom's basement and just made each other laugh, taped it, watched it.
What did you do? Did you have prompts or setups?
We would think about stuff. We would write stuff before we came in, just to pull from a hat as a prompt, because we couldn't ask anybody, kind of thing. So it's kind of like, does anybody have a suggestion? Nobody's in there. So we would do that kind of different exercises stuff. Murray was teaching improv, had taught improv, and made an improv troupe down in Georgetown. So we read books together. We went and saw UCB, things like that. So it was all, we were in the culture. I used to go watch Rob Riggle.
Oh, really?
Who's now a good friend of mine, but he's the best. I used to watch him do stuff, and he's unbelievable to watch.
Improv?
To watch him do improv, and that's how I got to know him. And fast forward years later, he's Rob Riggle. And I was like, he's just always so funny. But I used to go and study these people like that. We used to go watch, Horatio Sands, Amy Poehler. They were all, down doing UCB stuff. And
gotcha.
Tina Fey, you just watch them do their thing. Huh. And, if you pay attention and treat them as professors, in your mind, it's like, you study comedy, you figure out what were good moves, what's not. And ever since then, we just, kept at it, really. And it was always on the side. We even in the first season of Jokers, the three other guys had their day job still. Sal was still doing his bartending.
Well, because at that point, as I understand it, essentially they basically say we'll pick you up for a season.
Yeah.
And then
6 episodes.
If it go 6 episodes, and you got 6 episodes to prove whether or not you get another season of this.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, from what I understand anyway, keep their jobs first season
100%,
because you don't know what's going to happen.
Even until you get renewed for the second, you don't even know. So until you get your premiere date for your second season, you don't even know what's going on, because you can even film your second, and then they could be like, nah, something new comes out or something.
Whose idea was the format for Jokers?
It was really a group effort. I mean, Murr had been in a meeting because he was inside of development. He was temping all the time, but then he ended up working at the production company that made the show ultimately.
Okay. In L.A., New York?
In New York. Always New York. Always that was in our contract that we stay in New York. We didn't want to leave New York. So we did the whole, they were looking for a prank show, quote unquote, that was pretty big. And we were like, okay, what's our version of how are we funniest? And that's it. So it really became out of we kind of could sell this as a prank show, but it's not really at all, because it's really just messing with each other.
Right. It's pranks on each other, which is what makes it awesome. Well, that's why it works.
I think people you hear from us, people all the time, you got to show the reactions of the people. You got to show, there's no reactions. We always look like a crazy person on purpose, because if people were getting mad or angry, we would stop. They'd be like, this is not working. This is not what we're out to do. Dude. So if you just look like a crazy person in New York, which is easy to do, that's it. We're the perfect spot for me was is this guy, what's up with it? I kind of laughing at you, but trying to hold it in. That was a sweet spot.
And so there's so many, I mean, obviously YouTube has made prank shows a dime a dozen, but there's so many that do it so poorly.
So bad.
Because I just if you're just going up and terrorizing people, it's just not funny. No. You know what I mean? It's I guess congrats on having the balls to do stupid shit, but also that poor person. Like I would have swung at you too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can't just
100%.
come up to people and scream in their face and run.
Like,
like,
and then you
wait,
don't
what?
get it. I'm doing comedy.
Right, exactly.
Are you though?
Why are you
just...
so upset? Like, what do you mean? Why am I so upset? You yelled at me on the streets in New York. Right. My family's behind me. I was about to throw down. What are you talking about? Like, don't be a dick.
Yeah, that's just nature. Just don't like.
You deserve to get punched sometimes.
100%. And like if we ever got to that, it was like the license to be able to say no is what kept the show in its right space.
Yeah.
Because you are choosing the good of somebody else's existence over you, and that's what it's about, right? It was like, okay, all right, this is going to suck for me. I'm going to lose one. Hopefully I'll make it up in the next one and not get punished, but I can't tell this woman that she looks pregnant. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to do it, you know? Because at the end of the day, we're nice guys, we're friends. And also it was a weird thing because it's such a weird dynamic because you would say something to your friend that you wouldn't want them to say because, oh, don't do that. You're going to look like a jerk. Or even the punishments. Like you think of this amazing thing. It's like, oh, we're going to get him so good.
Did you guys come up with most of the punishments?
All of it. Yeah.
All of them?
All of it, yeah. And, we had a writer's room that would pitch us stuff and we would always integrate it together. They've come up with some good stuff and we would help build on that. But we were always had our hands in everything.
Yeah.
But it was like always like a thing where it was like, oh, we should. It's like, oh, I'm so mad at you, but I'm so proud of you as you're getting punished. You know, it's like, I'm so mad. I remember one of the ones I was so mad. It was the one where I was eating boiled eggs and it was like I had to eat the eggs in a so they book a conference room and they hid hard-boiled eggs and I had to open them and find them and eat them dressed as a maintenance guy and they had a meeting going on and I'm just like digging around trying to find these eggs and it was so stupid. I'm like, this is so dumb, but I heard them laughing so loud and I was like looking at the faces of the people and there was one woman like trying to take notes at the meeting and I'm on a ladder with just shell falling and she's like looking at me and I'm like, this is perfect. This is exactly what the show is.
Right.
Yeah, it's just interesting that you'd have that, and there's a million moments like that. I did over 300 episodes, a decade of my life.
That's crazy.
And it was just like crazy to just have those moments just build and build and build, and you're like, this is why it works.
Are there any moments that are kind of like the gift that keeps on giving type of a thing, like continuous jokes that exist between the four of you guys?
Oh yeah, I mean up your ass and to the left. I mean, it was something we said once. Somebody came up to us asking for directions way before anything was happening.
Yeah.
And I think it was me. I think it was all of us. We were just sitting there, or whatever, and somebody asked for direction. We were like, "Yeah, up your ass and to the left, up here." And he was going to go, and they're like, "Oh, thanks," and they walked away, and we fucking lost it. And then it made its way throughout. It's throughout our life. Whenever anybody asks you, any of us, not even with each other, anybody asks me anytime, it's just up your ass to the left, and it's so. And then you have to follow it up with you right up here, and then you're gonna go. You got to do this, right? So then it just graduated into the show where it was like, we're so good at doing this. We would just do it to people's mouths as they were talking to us. Like there's one shot in the show. I remember Sal was in the middle of Madison Square Park or someplace, and a lady walks over and she's like, "Where's this?" He goes, "It's directly up your ass and to the left." And the woman was like, "Okay," actually went to the left, and it was like, what is going on?
Did you just not register what I just said?
It was just something that just always stuck with us. And now people meet me at like the meet and greets after my show and be like, where do I go? Like when they're done, I'm like, oh, you go up your ass to the left over here. Like that. People will say it to me. So I think that's something that transcends because it just was something we've always done.
Yeah.
It was great. Right. And it actually became part of the show and then it became part of the culture of Jokers. And it's just something that I would say is the gift that never.
Yeah. And the Larry.
The Larry bit. Yeah. Well, that got made on the show. And then just became its own beast.
Right.
Like you can't even, I mean, literally I just thought the idea to yell the name Larry and then who would have thought? Like, and I always think like, what if I yelled Frank?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's so funny. It was just like Larry seemed like the right word, right? The right time. And then
it almost worked.
Yeah.
Almost worked.
Almost got it. I still can't find him.
So close.
I mean, the suck it thing is something I get all the time too. When I was Captain Fat Belly, I told people to suck it.
Yeah.
And I get these little like kids at the meet and greets, like, can we do the suck it? And I'm like, yeah, sure. We have like pictures of me like 12-year-olds with that. I'm like, your parents say it. Like, that's there with the whole family's like, suck it. I'm like, this is weird, man. What is going on? But yeah, all that stuff just to be, I mean, you grew up. I don't know how old you are, but like I'm 48. Like, so you grow up, like you quote things, whatever. And just to be the thing that people are quoting is super cool. So funny. I remember one of the coolest things ever in my life, and I don't know if it'll ever be topped with a fan. There was this kid, I was at a Target, and I'm just, I got a baseball hat on. I'm just like checking out, whatever. I get on the end of the line, and the kid's with his mom, and he's like 14, I guess. And he starts yelling at me. He's like, Larry, whatever. And I was like, oh, this kid. And then I realize, his mom goes, stop. And I realize he's just doing it. He doesn't know I'm there. He's just doing it like to mess with his mother.
That's hilarious.
And he did it. And then somebody like down the line, like smiled, like they knew what he was doing. And I was like, this is unbelievable, right? So I paid myself at the self-checkout. And then I tapped him on the shoulder. I took my hat off. I said, he's not here. And the kid went, And I walked away and I was gone. And I was gone. Like, no picture. He can't prove that story. You know, like I was just gone. It was one of the coolest things. I was like, wow, to be, what are the chances of all that's a line up?
Nobody's going to believe
Nobody's going to believe you. I was like, it's like one of those things we tell kids.
You're just going to end up in an insane asylum one day.
It was just so, I swear to God, I saw him, you know. But yeah, like just to have those moments is you know, very fortunate.
Yeah, I'm unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. You've done now, I mean, so many different creative expressions. Which one's your favorite?
Movies. I mean, that's why I got into the thing, to be a writer director. So to be able to have, when you're thinking about one thing for so long and then you get off, like you just start writing. And I always loved writing. So to write like scripts and screenplays and just realize how many ideas you have up there, it's really fun. You know, TV show ideas and different things that it produce. I always loved behind the camera. Like that was, I never wanted to end up in front of it. It was just happened. You know, I couldn't act. I wouldn't want to act. I don't go out to audition really. Like that's not my thing. Like I've done guest spots and stuff because it's fun, you know, but I don't feel natural in that skin, but I feel very natural behind the camera, directing, producing, being part of that, part of the machine. And I became that on Jokers, which was, you know, for 10 years to be able to have my arms around that behemoth was really trial by far. You know, if you think about some of the stuff we do, I remember we had the idea. It's like, hey, we love Scare and Sal, right? And we're like, okay, let's start doing this. We'll lock them in, blah, blah, blah. And then we're like, what if there was a zombie apocalypse? And we're like, let's do it. And then we like figured out
and you can actually
how to like do it.
Yeah.
So we found the location team found an underground sewer entrance to a basement of this abandoned building in Brooklyn, and we got it, and it was multi-level, and we cast all these, and it was basically a short film that we were doing as part of the show, and it was so many different pieces of it and when it was done, I was like, wow, this is so cool. So any idea we had, it was just like, make it happen. Yeah. And people are like, oh, it's a funny show where they tell each other what to do. It was so much more than that. There was so much writing and idea development. So I really enjoyed that part of it, being behind the scenes.
For writing and directing, is there a genre that you typically find yourself writing in?
Action comedy.
Action comedy.
Yeah, action comedy is where I do. I do some horror stuff too, actually, because it's fun to think about that kind of thing. But I do. Action comedy is really like, you know, I grew up like loving like the Rush Hour movies, and you know, a lot of buddy.
I was gonna say
stuff like
that's got to be one of my favorite genres for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's a dude thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, no, I mean, I think there's co-viewership to that more than straight action.
Yeah, no, totally.
You know?
Well, it's like watching a dramedy, or you know, or like watching a romantic comedy versus watching like a drama romance.
Yes,
you know, it's like romantic comedy is going to pull from both sides a little bit more, but still give.
What's your favorite rom-com?
What do you think, babe? How many do I watch?
You don't watch much rom-com.
I don't. It's not at the top of my genre list.
Love Actually's for me. Love Actually.
Actually.
Oh yeah, we watch it every Christmas. Love Actually. Yeah.
I'm legit trying to think right now.
You don't know a rom-com?
Rom-coms that. Just Friends.
Oh yeah, Just Friends. I would put
that's
it
up at the
in
top
there.
of the list somewhere for sure.
Nice.
Yeah,
you get that one.
Yeah, because it is hilarious. Yeah. But I always find myself like rooting against the couple, like halfway through the movie.
You gotta love the breakup, the Vince Vaughn, Jennifer Aniston.
Oh yeah,
one.
no, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn is. I mean, he's so good.
He's so great, so great.
No, that's true. I'm definitely just not thinking of any right now.
Yeah.
But action comedy though is a great genre.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I like, you know, a lot of them pop up that are fun now too. I remember when I saw Spy for the first time. Yeah. The one Melissa McCarthy that Paul Feig did. I was like, wow, this is so. It felt so fresh and well done, and I was like, I love that is there. And whenever I write, I'm like, I can't help but put comedy in. Even some of my horror stuff has got, you know, but that happens now with the comedic stuff. You know, there's a lot of comedy in horror now, which is great. But I was like, you know, I can't help but make it funny. You know, so if I think of a great action premise, I'm like, once I get to the dialogue part, it's like, you
got to throw jokes, stuff in there. Well, that's what I think what makes Deadpool, like Deadpool, Wolverine, that whole.
But anything Marvel, even. I mean, they basically made comedies, you know, inside these crazy worlds.
Yeah, you kind of watch it in real time too, especially with like Thor and stuff. Like Thor 1 was very serious. He's a god and 100%. Whatever, and then like by Thor 4, he's just fucking around the whole.
And you go the reverse with Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one comes out, and the last one had more heart than most Pixar movies.
Yeah,
you know,
very true. Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so you have all this other stuff going on. Family life is now, it seems like, also going really, really well.
Great.
And I know this is something, you know, we won't dive too much into the personal stuff, but I do find a lot of the advice that you gave on like relationships and stuff like that very helpful. especially for people that are trying to accomplish things in their career, because that's something that I've always, I've never struggled with ambition more than after I had my kids.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Because it's like before it was just like I'm going. There's always something motivating me. Regardless of what it was. Like I'm always going to the next thing, moving to the next thing. And you have kids and you're like, man, I feel like I'm doing all this stuff for them, but also I'm not there.
Yeah, 100%.
How do I keep accomplishing what I want to accomplish without, being a stranger to my kids? Yeah. Like how have you found that? Like I said, it seems like in the last couple of years was like a big reset for you, where you kind of found that balance. If there is a balance, I don't know.
I mean, that's the first thing I always say is like, there's not a balance. What you have to do is really just be okay with it. You have to find how you're okay with it, because like I have friends that have just had kids and whatever. And I say the biggest thing when you have a child is you instantly become aware of your mortality.
Yeah.
The clock is ticking. It's like, okay, how am I going to, I lost my father. I was 19 years old, still probably had the biggest impact on my life out of anybody in my life. And I barely knew him. The first couple of years, you don't even know anything. Yeah. Putting your foot in your mouth, figuring anything out. Right. So then, and I had him for, I was just 19 when he passed, So it's like, okay, so for me, I already come at it with that lens. It's like, all right, what do I got to do here for my daughter and son, and then after you realize that's like, okay, now I got to get them all set up. And you're never focusing, you're always focusing on them, but you're not necessarily focusing correctly. Like you think you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the first step was always like, okay, you don't. Like, I tell a story all the time. I came home from tour right before COVID, right before the world shut down. My daughter, she's 5 years old at the time. I come home, she comes over, a big hug. She goes, Daddy, I love when you come to visit. And I was like, oh, that's hysterical and also heart-wrenching at the same time. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, well, something's wrong here.
You never have to guess what your 5-year-old is thinking.
100%, right? So then you worry about the kids, but you forget about your partner. So that's a hard part too, right? Because you're getting pulled in so many directions.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. I think now it's interesting to see how the world has looked at men's mental health, and it's come to the spotlight a little bit more, which is kind of fun because you never really thought about that at all. Everybody in our generation had a dad that you didn't. My dad never picked me up from school. My dad, he helped me with my homework sometimes.
That was standard.
Yeah,
it was just standard. That's like
how
it was.
Yeah. So now it's like to have dads be involved in different parts of it and be able to be there for like school pickup and I cook breakfast for them before school and then drop them off. Like it's just all that stuff. You have your routine that you're part of their life that helps fill part of it. But the biggest thing is like the mental balance. It's the mental balance. It's like you have to be where you are. You have to be where you are. Everything's going to keep going, but you're in here for 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to play with your kids. That's going to be the best 5 minutes of their day. Yeah. That's going to be the best 5 minutes they're going to remember. When you go to bed, say, what was the best part of the day? They're going to be like, when we played cards. Like, that's it, So be there for that 5 minutes in a way that you can be. Don't be on your phone check-in. Don't be like worrying about it. Because kids are smart too. My daughter will be like, what's the matter? And I don't think anything's a matter. And then when I think about it, I'm like, I'm not here,
Sure. Yeah. I think about that a lot where kids are going to learn your behavior more than they're going to learn 100%. From what you tell them, So
they see everything, man.
They soak it in like a sponge, So as soon as they have a phone and a reason to ignore me, they're just going to do that same shit to me.
Like, and you're like, put your phone down. I'm ready to connect. They're like, well, I was ready for 8 years.
Exactly. Now they're 13. They're talking to their friends or whatever. It's like, I know that day is going to come, and it's going to come regardless of even if I'm an amazing parent. Like,
but they'll be balanced. They'll be like, I have nieces and nephews that are very much part of the family. Like they won't even be on their phones when we get together and hang out because we're having so much fun laughing and talking. And that's a testament to the way they were raised, and I know other kids that are like, barely talk to their parents, and it's just like but both kids are happy. Sure. Both kids are living their own existence. I don't know how happy the parents are with the relationship with their kids, but so it's just really you have to find out something that's a balance for all of you.
Yeah.